just to go into my backstory, I've gone, like many of us, we've gone through challenges. So 2008 was a massive challenge for me, 2008, 2009, when we went through the financial credit crunch, the global meltdown, whatever you want to call it. So back then, I was obviously a young recruiter. And then literally my clients were investment banks, hence me having a lot of challenges. One of my main clients was Bear Stearns, which was a large investment bank. They disappeared overnight. So it meant my revenue, or should I say my commission bonus, completely stopped. Back then, you was really, really reliant on your commission because your basic salary was extremely low. And obviously, like most people going through now through this pandemic, is your outgoings are more than your income. So what that meant for me was I did what everyone else would do. Again, I think I had to go through this journey to understand I didn't do it the right way. I went and got a second job. So I was working my recruitment job, doing 55, 60 hours a week. Then I got a second job in Tesco, good old F&F side in the warehouse. And then I was working, obviously, Monday to Friday, my recruitment job. And then I was working also Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. I was doing like a 9 till 7. Sunday I was doing a 10 till 4. So it was constant. It was Groundhog Day. Completely burnt myself out doing that for half a year, maybe just under a year. But it got me through the storm. Because I knew the market was going to pick back up in recruitment. I knew I wasn't going to be doing the second job again. But if people listening now saying, well, what would I have done differently back then? Back then, I would have done what I've doing now, which is get into social media, which is create digital courses and online courses and get into something where I'm not trading my time, because I was literally just giving my time away constantly rather than doing it the reverse way now. So that's a challenge that I can overcome. And then obviously as you when you got no money coming in, I sold my car and bought a car that was literally falling apart, etc. Everything that comes with it as well. So that really strengthened my mindset back then. And people in the present now are going through so much challenges, and then you're going to think to yourself, it's never going to end. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. You're not going to appreciate now, but it really gives you some mental strength. Just like if you go to the gym, you're lifting weights and you're pushing, you're doing your weights, and it's really hard. You're struggling. You're screaming, try to get do that next lift. It's kind of like when you're going through the challenges and pain, and it just makes you that stronger. Obviously, when you go to the gym and lifting your weights, maybe you feel stronger a week, 2 weeks later, but when it comes to your mindset, unfortunately, it can take years. It can take years to actually get that mental muscle built up. So that's what the challenge did for me in 2008, 2009. And I've actually gone off. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent then. But yeah, so bringing it back to now is, and I've kind of forgotten the question as well. So it's just basically for now. I'm just focused on just making sure that I'm aware of what is going on in my life. So if you can kind of help me out, because I've just literally
lost no. I mean, you haven't lost it at all. So I mean, the question was around how you manage that transition to say where you are now, trying to turn your passion into profit, and how, I guess, you went through what you went through. So you've given almost a very detailed description of what you were going through and what a lot of other people will be experiencing right now, comparably so compared to the crash and the pandemic,
exactly,
causing recession and everything. So I think we got a deep dive. And I think it actually transitions well into the other area that we were going to talk around, which was around mental health, because I think that's something that's threading through everything that you've been saying so far. There is a lot of strength there. There is a lot of resiliency. There's this changing of your mindset to focus more on what's available and to engage with the right kind of resources, to take the risks, which a lot of us hesitate to do. And I think before I want to find out much more about how you've developed this incredible mindset. But what I'm curious about is, obviously, there's the adage of black don't crack, and there's the be a man and suck it up.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is coming through. You're describing going through a situation where you're selling, say, a nice car, and you're having to downgrade to a car that's, like you suggest, literally falling apart. And by my calculations, this is when the family is just starting to grow as well. That, to me, sounds like an extremely stressful situation. And I think it's important not to just to overlook how that might affect someone. And so I think it's important to then perhaps identify within those times. I suppose I want to get an idea of how you navigated those times, and what were the key, or how did those times actually feel? Because I guess this is one of the things we don't talk about. We'll talk about the
my thoughts and my thoughts and feelings were extremely deep. So my thoughts and feelings, first of all, were embarrassment. The reason why I say embarrassment, because I believed I should be driving this nice car, and then because I was in recruitment, it's obviously sales, and then most people will be driving nice cars, and then now pulling up to the car park in something that would just resemble something that would be good enough to be on a skip or tip. So it was the embarrassment. It was then the and also in fact going deep in the embarrassment is this is how bad the car was, just to let you know. If I start crying, go with me on this. Exactly. So the car itself, the electrics failed. So the indicators didn't work. I was literally sticking my arm out the window to do a turn signal. Then the window wipers broke, so I had no wipers. This is all made up. This is all true. I think you can make a film about this. The speedometer went, so I couldn't see how fast I was going. So I had to use my revs in the car to judge to see how fast I was going. And then the car was making awful banging and clanking sounds, and that I was going through that for a year. Luckily enough, I knew a mechanic who just kept saving it for me. So the car was saved until the MOT was coming up, and then I just literally got rid of it for like £150. Maybe £250 at the very most. So that was going through my head, embarrassment, and obviously self-doubt, and doubting myself, the voice in my head. You're not good enough, and how have you got yourself in the situation, etc. And then let down my family. This is back in 2008, and we bought our first home in 2005. We got married in 2007, and then we had our daughter in 2008. So if you can imagine the financial stress, virtually year after another house, big deposit, well, not big back then, but big for me, the younger Aunt Terry back then, and then paying for a wedding, paying for a honeymoon, and then having the financial burden of a dependent, and then the crash coming in as well. It was all challenging times. So another thing that came into mind was uncertainty as well, of how I'm going to get through this. But this is where I guess myself now, because I'm still going through challenges now, obviously due to my recruitment business being affected because of 2020, but the way I deal with that now versus then, as I mentioned, the self-doubt isn't there. The awareness is amplified tenfold, but the awareness is now I know I will get through this. I know things will get better, and I know as long as I keep the repetition, the action, the focus, the positivity, and stay in my true happiness, then I know I'll get through this. So back then it was literally all doom and gloom. Obviously your mood changes, your mindset changes, your positivity changes.